Arthur, where are you from?
I'm from Iowa.
Iowa?
Yeah, Iowa, but I live in New York now.
Okay, you're on the East Coast.
I'm on the East Coast, yeah.
Yeah, how's that going over there for you guys? Gals.
I thank you. I like Iowa more, but I can't make any money there. So.
Good morning, Evan. This is our 206th episode of the podcast.
Wow. Good morning, Justin.
Yeah. Did you notice what day it is on the calendar?
Sunday, July 13th?
Yeah. Do you remember what happened on July 13th of 2024?
I don't remember.
That is the day that weird kid shot the president.
Oh, yeah. What was his name?
Thomas, is it Crooks or Crook? I think it was Crooks.
Yeah, I think it was Crooks.
Yeah.
How soon will we forget?
I know, it seems like
an event that could have been, that guy's name could have been remembered forever.
Now we aren't sure
now,
what it was.
After a year, we don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah. So in honor of this important anniversary, I do want to read to you a recent statement by our president that he posted on his own social media.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if you saw this or not, but this is the words of our president, Donald J. Trump. What's going on with my, quote, boys and, comma, in some cases, comma, in quotes, gals. So what's going on with my boys and, in some cases, gals?
That's a really good one.
They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world.
I mean, not wrong.
The world is talking.
The world is
that's
talking
true.
About the Trump administration.
And selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein.
He's still alive?
Yeah, so is that, he never dies? What are you telling us? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't been following this super closely, but it seems like the Epstein stuff is heating to a boil again.
Yeah, it seems so. I think he meant to say a guy who never killed himself. I think that's what he meant to say, according to, what his, Department of Justice under Pam Bondi just released.
Right. A video that I guess was edited, the metadata shows, despite what they said.
There's some kind of doctoring happening.
Yeah. I've read maybe 10% of this post.
It's so pretty long. I did see that, but it's long. It's basically just him, he's shouting out his guys and his gals.
What's going on with my boys and gals?
Oh yeah, boys and gals. I'm sorry. Boys. Of course.
Yeah, boys and gals.
I mean, if you're doing a statement about like Epstein, you really probably shouldn't use that kind of language.
Yeah. Oh, you got boys, huh? And gals? For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files is capitalized, written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51, quote, intelligence agents, quote, the laptop from hell, all caps, and more. The laptop from hell?
The laptop from hell. That's awesome.
Have they been calling it that?
I don't think so.
Haven't heard much about the laptop in a while. I don't know that I knew it was from hell.
The fact that he's getting mad about this, like, publicly, is
they
probably
created the Epstein files.
I mean, this just fuels the fire.
Yeah, I really, when I saw this, I was like, oh, he should not be acknowledging this. This is the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's spent the last, it's been like 6 years basically not talking about it, right? Hasn't he himself not really directly, like he lets it, like heat up over and over again without if you don't say anything about it yourself, it's not really gonna affect you, a guy who clearly is a pedophile and was involved.
Yeah, and was talking about how Jeffrey Epstein just loves young girls. Like, yeah, I don't know if he really has talked about it too much, but yeah, I mean, obviously it was a way for, because of, Bill Clinton, among other, public figures, was a way to attack Democrats and be like, well, they're the pedophiles. Like, it's just pedophile hot potato. Like,
that's the American
pedophile hot
government.
potato is the American government now.
Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? Well, yeah, I think we don't need to read the rest of this, but I think that Evan made it pretty clear why they wouldn't have used it already.
Yeah. I think
some of our faves may be implicated.
Yeah, I think the interesting part is that the Democrats are actually throwing the hot potato back this time. They're actually talking about it, which they really haven't done much in the past.
I think I saw a clip of John Ossoff talking about it. I think it was them.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's exciting. It seems like the Jeffrey Epstein situation is maybe going to fracture a little bit of the fascist movement. Don't hold your breath, but some of them are not going along with the president's, adamant denials. Maybe he doth protest too much.
Perhaps.
I think there might be a reason that Donald Trump wants you to shut up about Epstein already.
I saw Tucker Carlson was crying about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was speaking at something and he was getting very emotional about it. Very agitated.
What's his problem? What does he want to happen? I can never really guess what he's up to nowadays.
Yeah, I don't really know either.
Because he was telling Cruz that you shouldn't be so hungry for war with Iran. Which is a wild thing for Tucker Carlson to be taking that side of the issue.
Well, yeah, he was pro disclosure of the Epstein files. For sure. Yeah, basically just mad at the Trump administration, I think, for not following through on their. Pam Bondi was I have it on my desk. I have the list of clients on my desk. And I was like, all right, well, we're going to release the exact same information that the Biden administration released, or whatever. He didn't kill himself. There weren't any clients. It was all him. There were no clients. Yeah.
That was all for himself only. Yeah. There were two criminals involved in this vast criminal conspiracy. It's just two people. And it's been taken care of.
Yeah. Ghislaine Maxwell's in prison. Case closed.
All right. 2 days ago, it was July 11th, 7/11. Right? Did you see that email from Rob Sand? Really good one.
I see so many emails from Rob Sand.
I had to explain to my sister yesterday why I got really annoyed when I saw an email notification from the Rob Sand list.
Yeah. I will never unsubscribe.
Yesterday, it's his. I didn't read the email, but the subject line was "Let me cook."
Yeah, I saw that one too.
But on what day was that? Friday. Yeah, Friday was July 11th. He sent an email that said, "Not much of a 7-Eleven guy myself." Yeah, we don't have any fucking 7-Elevens.
I was confused. I was Iowans don't leave Iowa. And we don't have any of them here. So who are you appealing to? This is the thing.
We don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that's an East Coast fucking elitist thing to talk about.
Yeah. True.
We don't even need to acknowledge the existence of 7-Eleven or other gas stations other than Casey's and Come and Go, which is Maverick now. That's
all we know. Yeah, 7-Elevens. I know that they have them in Chicago, but I don't know any. Yeah. Any closer than that? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But then the email is just a very close-up photo of a breakfast slice from Casey's. Maybe the least appetizing photo of
for real,
a slice of pizza I've seen in a long time. And you can see the greasy, the sticker with the barcode on it with the expiration time. You better eat this before 12:24 p.m. or you're not going to have a good day.
Yeah, you're going to spend a lot of time at the toilet if you eat this after this date.
And you like this stuff, and you're showing us the worst part of it. The worst aspect of the gas station pizza is you're way close up on it. Anyway, he was asking for people to send him either $7 or $11.
That's cute.
So,
he always does that. Yeah.
In December, he's going to be asking for way more money.
I think I've been asked for every increment of $1. Like, I think like up to like $50 or probably more. Like, it's pretty impressive how his digital team is really pulling their weight. I'm sure he's just raking in the money.
Can you spare $1,800 today?
Yeah.
I can't remember the number, but I did get a really crazy one. Like, I feel like it was near the end of like the Bernie 2020 campaign, where it was like the total of like all the money I had ever sent him, and he's like, "Can you send that again?"
That's awesome.
Embarrassing. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some real news. Not that Jeffrey Epstein stuff. We're all tired of that, right? Come on.
Yeah.
That's old news. The flock safety stuff that I talked about a little bit last week, my town of Coralville considering putting up some license plate cameras. I mentioned that they were having a city council meeting this week and some people were going to go to talk about this. And they did. So shout out to the people who showed up to the Coralville City Council meeting on Tuesday. We ended up on the news. I was on KCRG. I saw that.
Yeah, I did.
Pretty exciting. KCRG has a very short clip of me saying that the license plate cameras are creepy and invasive.
Yeah,
that's
a good
what
quote.
They pulled from the community comments. So I really the only update that I wanted to bring up on the show, because I didn't have this last week when we talked about it. The University of Iowa Police Department, who does have a few of these license plate cameras up around town and near their campus properties, they have a transparency portal on the flock safety website. So this is, if you have these flock cameras and people around your town are like raising concerns, this is how you can kind of put them at ease. Is you publish this transparency portal. It tells.
I love a fucking portal. I love that.
I love all kinds of portals, honestly. Yeah. Like, just get me from one place to another.
Cake is a freaking lie, man.
I love the companion cube, Mm-hmm. But some stuff on this transparency portal, just to make sure you're not really worried about these cameras. Look, it's not 1984, okay? It's just regular business. What's detected? License plates and vehicles. What's not detected? Facial recognition, people, gender, race.
We're not detecting people.
These, as far as we're concerned, these may as well be unmanned craft.
Yeah,
going back and forth along the public roadways.
Yeah.
We don't even care if there are people inside of them. We're not concerned about the people, only the license plate and the car. What am I supposed to think about that? Like, oh, okay, the camera doesn't notice there are human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vehicle's like a proxy for me, though. I'm in there.
Yeah, you know what vehicle I own. Like, what car I'm driving.
Data is used for law enforcement purposes only. Data is owned by University of Iowa PD and is never sold to third parties. Okay.
They would never sell it. They might share it, though.
That's like there's like a left column with policies and a right column of uses. All right. Mm-hmm. And what's really, I feel like the most shocking thing here is under usage. Maybe not shocking, but like the most revealing piece of data here. It says external organizations with access. Right. So again, they're not selling to third parties, but here are some third parties that have access to all of the data of the University of Iowa's flock cameras. Mercer County, Missouri, Abbotsford, Wisconsin, Ackworth, Georgia, Adairville, Kentucky, Adams County, Illinois, Adams County, Wisconsin, Adams, Wisconsin, Addison, Illinois, Adrian, Michigan, Alabama Department of Corrections, Albion, Michigan, Alcoa, Tennessee, Alexander, Arkansas, Alexandria, Indianapolis. I'm starting to sound like the Animaniacs song where he sings all the countries of the world.
That's a good one.
So yeah, what did I read? I read like maybe 10 things there. And if you scroll down a bit, if you have this page pulled up, Evan,
You can get to the B's. Yeah, you have to scroll a little bit, get to the B's, and then the C's, and the D's.
That sure is a lot of external organizations, huh? Mm-hmm. The Wright-Patterson Air Force Base has access to these cameras. Wow, that has federal in brackets there. I wonder if there are any other federal. Oh yeah, the Indiana Dunes National Park. Why would they need that? Oh,
they
shit.
Got dunes, they got dunes in Indiana?
U.S. Border Patrol is listed here.
Oh, are they?
I didn't realize that till just now. Yeah, if you search for federal, you can find...
they certainly are.
Okay, well, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
On the left, it says under policies, prohibited uses, immigration enforcement. Well, then why the fuck does the U.S. Border Patrol have access to the data? What else are they going to do with that? What a load of shit.
Yeah. I was curious about this. I did some Googling, and apparently there's been cases of law enforcement officials, searching this database for immigration purposes, which is not surprising to anyone. Like all of these, a lot of these police organizations or police departments are cooperating with ICE or
of course,
Border Patrol, like customs, all of that. So of course, the federal government is going to have access to this information. Also, what's to stop them from just subpoenaing Flock for information?
And Flock is not going to resist.
They're
you
don't
not even need to subpoena them. Just ask them.
They're not actively sharing, but they could go to literally any of these organizations and be like, hey, are you going to let us in to access this information? It's a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's
fucking stupid.
It's a private third party, but this is just a cop company. All they're doing is selling their gear to cops and maintaining the infrastructure of a mass cop surveillance system.
Do you trust the Henderson County, Kentucky Police Department?
No. So shout out to Annie and Greg who had me on the radio show a couple days ago. I put a recording of that on the podcast feed if you want to scroll back, listeners. But I was on People Power Radio Hour on KRUI the other day, and we did talk a little bit about the immigration side of this. How at the time I thought the federal or agencies didn't have access to this stuff, but I guess U.S. Border Patrol can just search it according to this. But yeah, we talked about how, like you said, some cop in Kentucky, you think he's it says immigration enforcement is a prohibited use. And then we've got 1,000 cop organizations on the right here that have access. You really think every single cop of every one of those organizations cares what the prohibited uses are? Mm-hmm. And there's been plenty of reports that local cops will hand that data over to ICE, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but they track who's accessing the data. That information is stored indefinitely. Mm-hmm. Does that matter? I don't think so.
Yeah. To do what with? They're not going to audit it. They're not going to enforce the policies. Why does that transparency portal exist?
PR?
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, having the full list of who all has access to your data, I feel does the total opposite.
Yeah, true.
It's fucking crazy how many people.
It's such a long list. You have to scroll so far. It's also the way the website is laid out. If you look at it on a full size screen, you have to it has 2 columns, and the right column has the external organizations, and then if you scroll after the first visible part of the page, it's you have to just keep scrolling, and it's only the right column. It's so funny
for miles and miles. Yeah. Speaking of immigration, I think that probably the most important story going on in Iowa right now is the deportation of Pascual Pedro, who I think we mentioned in passing last week, but I didn't. We didn't say a lot about that. But this 20-year-old who had been living in West Liberty for the past several years, since he was young, I think age 13 or something, he came here, was deported over the 4th of July weekend. So I personally was not celebrating, and I'm glad I wasn't, because what an awful thing to celebrate.
Yeah.
They deported him to Guatemala very quickly.
Yes.
Little Village has, I think, the best, most thorough reporting on this. Paul Brennan's piece on July 11th, Iowans rally in Davenport to demand action from Miller, Meeks, Grassley, and Ernst after 20-year-old is deported with no due process. So shout out to Paul at Little Village for the objective fact in the headline.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of other news organizations would try to massage that.
I'm glad you got the no due process. Yeah, no due process in there.
Yeah, I did head up to Cedar Rapids on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. That they had a bit of a rally outside of the DHS office in Cedar Rapids, which I had never been to. It's kind of just like hidden among some warehouses and stuff on the southwest side. And it seemed like no one was inside. Like they knew that a bunch of people were coming to protest, and so they worked from home that day, it seemed like. What I really wanted to read from this article is kind of how our representatives in the federal government have been responding to their constituents' demands that, the main demand being bring this kid back home. Like West Liberty, Iowa is Pascual Pedro's home. Like maybe he was born in Guatemala, but he's an American, by all rights. And so, they visited the offices in Davenport of our senators and Marionette Miller Meeks. And here's a bit of responses from our representatives. Grassley was asked about Pascual Pedro during a conference call with Iowa reporters earlier this week. This is Grassley. His advocates have been in contact with my office. I don't know that he has been. So he doesn't think that Pascual himself has called Senator Chuck Grassley. Like, yeah, that's what he's going to use his one phone call for. I doubt he even got that while in ICE custody. Oh, let me call Chuck Grassley. He'll know what to do. Not like my family, I don't know that he has been, and obviously we would need a privacy report, a statement from him to get involved in his case. Okay, so it's an excuse to not care. Like, oh, there's like 1,000 people calling and writing to me, but not the man himself. So
yeah, I mean, we deported him, but we need to protect his privacy, obviously.
Right. Yeah, this is a privacy concern. How dare you ask me about this? That's inappropriate. Escucha Mi Voz, which is a local organization that advocates for immigrants in Iowa, told Little Village on Thursday the necessary paperwork has been filed with Grassley's office. It's been publicly reported that he was issued a lawful, expedited removal several years ago, Grassley said during the conference call with reporters. That removal order was final, and he's since been staying in the U.S. temporarily under certain conditions that I'm not sure that I can define.
Okay.
So, right. I mean, I don't think we should be deporting anybody. I think that we've probably made that clear over the several years of this podcast. Yeah. I think episode 1, we said, like, borders are stupid.
Borders are fake. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you order this kid, came here at age 13, what did he call it? A lawful expedited removal. And then in all the time since, he checks in regularly with immigration, and he is allowed to stay, not be deported under certain conditions that Chuck Grassley is not sure he can define. But he meets those certain conditions year after year for 7-8 years. And then one day he shows up for this regular check-in, and you arrest him and send him back to Guatemala within like a couple days. Like nobody in their right mind thinks that is like a sensible action.
Yeah. Like also over July 4th weekend where like no one is working, like you can't, even if you wanted to, like, try to fight it, like there's no one to help you. Like,
yeah, they did it as quickly as possible when people were, as busy as possible. We'll read more from what our Republican representatives have to say about it. But the thing to take away is they don't care. They're fine with this happening. It's not surprising. Iowa's senior senator has greater seniority than any other member of the Senate, is its president pro tempore and the chair of the Judiciary Committee, but told the reporters he doesn't have any real power to do anything on Pedro's behalf. And I don't think this is in this article, but I did read that Steve Scalise, who is like has described himself as David Duke without the baggage.
Yeah.
You know, a racist guy. You know, I mean, if you say that about yourself, you're saying, I'm racist, but I know when to keep my mouth shut, essentially. A woman in his district, who I believe is an immigrant from Iran, but has lived here for decades, was detained by ICE, and Steve Scalise intervened and got her released from ICE custody. All right? This is a guy who admits to the press that he's racist and is like a dyed-in-the-wool, you know, right-wing Republican legislator, is intervening to free a woman from a country that they're trying to start a war with also. Like, if Steve Scalise can do that, I feel like any of our members of the Senate and Congress could do something.
Yeah, I think so.
It does not reflect well on almost anyone that Steve Scalise is doing something more like righteous and sensible. More from Grassley here. I'll continue to pass along Iowans' questions and concerns to the administration if that's what they want me to do.
God damn it.
But I make law. I don't enforce law. I can advocate for people, but I'll have to go through the administrative branch of government. What a prick. And then they got something from Joni Ernst here, who released a written statement that we have an excerpt from here. Our nation has laws for a reason, and we can't turn a blind eye to the essential role they play in keeping Iowans safe. This particular, I mean, many laws I think were probably ignored in the expedited removal of this kid. But also, any law that you're pointing to that is your justification for extracting a member of the West Liberty community who everyone seems to have loved and deporting him to his home country that he has very little connection to at this point in time. What role does that play in keeping Iowans safe? I'd say none.
Zero.
Biden's failure to enforce the law allowed deadly fentanyl and illegal immigrants to pour across our open borders and into communities across Iowa. You gotta insert fentanyl in there, as if this kid who is just like a Catholic soccer player who lived in the small town of West Liberty, Iowa, he has some fentanyl connection, I'm sure. No, obviously not. I also like that her statement there. Biden's failure to enforce the law allowed. There's two things she mentions: deadly fentanyl and illegal immigrants. So basically, you couldn't think of a second thing.
Yeah.
Like the only danger that you're going to place on immigrants is the fentanyl thing, and that they are illegal. Like the fact that they broke the law by coming across the border without following the proper procedures, that itself is dangerous? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it gives away the game when they're just like talking about fentanyl and cartels in a situation that has like absolutely nothing to do with that whatsoever.
No. And I think that, I don't know. I saw polling is fucking worthless on this issue because it just fucking bounces back and forth. But I did finally see a poll that's like, oh, a majority of Americans oppose the current administration's immigration actions. And that's
good.
Hopefully people can there are some people waking up to this and see once the actual mechanisms of mass deportation start to go into effect, you see that oh, it's actually just removing people who work at the stores that I interact with pretty regularly, just normal people.
Yeah, people who are just here to live
basically
survive.
The same life as you.
Yeah. Scrape by the same way that fucking everyone is.
Right.
It's fucking evil. Also, you know what's funny is that he came into the country in 2018, which was under the first Trump administration.
Oh, interesting.
Why would you talk about Biden? You fucking idiot.
Well, of course.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, not that is relevant to how our country should be handling immigration, but it's just funny for her to put that in her statement.
Yeah, let's hear what other members of the federal government sent to DC from Iowa had to say about this. We got a piece from Ashley Hinson. Sorry, it's a piece from the Gazette. Tom Barton quoting Ashley Hinson. Here, let's see. Yes, this was also during a conference call with Iowa reporters, much like the Grassley quotes were. First of all, I've been very clear. The president is focused on making sure we're deporting criminals first. I think that should be a priority. So that's, well, this kid was not a criminal. So, yeah, she was asked directly by reporters about the protests over Pascual Pedro's removal, and that was her response. First of all, the president is focused on making sure we're deporting criminals.
Almost sounds like she's kind of trying to distance herself from this a little bit.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that people who are here illegally, who are eligible for deportation should not be deported. Let me run by that one again. But that doesn't mean that people who are here illegally, who are eligible for deportation, should not be deported. So I think, okay, she thinks it's a priority. It should be a priority that criminals are removed first. However, that doesn't mean everyone else shouldn't also be removed.
Wow. Really strong stance there.
Yeah, I mean, what we can see what the effect of that is that if you're not a white American, you're on the chopping block. And Ashley Hinson thinks that's awesome. Or at the very least, acceptable. My understanding with that case specifically is that there was a deportation order for him, and so I believe he has had due process. So that's what due process is reliably showing up to these immigration check-ins year after year, doing what they tell you to do, and then suddenly you show up to one of these and they arrest you and deport you as quickly as possible. That also, I mean, that allowed him years and years to establish a life in West Liberty. Like, he probably had, he certainly had relationships with, the other citizens of West Liberty. He probably had some stuff he owned, and they, when you, spring this on somebody, surprise them, the years of life you quote, allowed them to build up while living in this country, you just take that away in an instant. That's what due process means? What the fuck?
Pure evil.
Hinson added, this is more pure evil right here. Hinson added, there are many mechanisms for people to self-deport and use a mobile app to come back and experience the American dream.
That's so fucking twisted.
Why didn't he just download the app?
He should have downloaded the fucking app so he can come back and experience freedom that he already was experiencing, I guess.
Right,
what
yeah.
the fuck?
We should just inconvenience this guy for, no reason other than stoking racial hatred around the country. When I went to the rally on Wednesday outside the DHS office, they compared Pascual's case to, I forget who it was, but somebody else who had a similar process. And that person was given an option to either be arrested right now or to go through a self-deportation process. And, still evil, of course, but that's what she's referring to here. There are many mechanisms for people to self-deport. They didn't give this kid that option. Mm-hmm. So that's, again, not relevant to this case. She's bringing up other shit, which itself is still evil and wrong to do to people, but they didn't even allow that for Pascual from West Liberty. The Trump administration in May announced it was offering a $1,000 incentive to migrants who self-deport using the CBP Home app that was once used to seek asylum. Boy, oh boy. Hey, if you uproot and just abandon everything you've been working on, we'll give you $1,000.
$1,000.
Wow, what a deal. And that app that you've had on your phone for years, well, now you can use that app to remove yourself from our society. Isn't that convenient? One last quote from Ashley Hinson here. I would encourage people to look into what the Department of Homeland Security is offering there, because, again, the number one issue I heard about while campaigning ahead of the 2024 election is the border and safety and making sure we're deporting people who are not here legally. So that is something that I continue to support, and I support the president in his efforts here. I wonder if there's any external factors that led that to be the number one issue Ashley Hinson heard about while campaigning. Were there any powerful people who maybe wanted that to be the number one issue for any reason? Was that organically the number one concern of all American citizens? Or are they a scapegoat? Are immigrants lied about constantly by, I mean, if we're being honest, it's not just the Republicans' fault.
No, it's definitely not.
No. Mass media in America in general loves to blame immigrants for everything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a normal person, your experience with immigrants is, I'll give you an example. The other night, I was at a gas station late at night, and I saw a guy who, it seemed like he could not speak English, and he bought a pack of beer from the cashier, and it went fine. The cashier tried to ask him a few questions, didn't really work. He bought the beer anyway, and then he left. It was a momentary slight inconvenience that they were not able to communicate directly with each other because there was a language barrier. But he bought the beer. He sold the beer. Everything was fine. That's the worst of it for most people, is a slight moment of discomfort with the transaction.
Yeah.
They're not causing any problems. People should be allowed to be where they want to be. It's pretty simple. And we can contrast that with, this came up when Trump was speaking at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, that he wants to put the farmers in charge of who gets deported so that we're not gutting the illegal agricultural workforce. We need these people we can exploit and pay poverty wages, less than poverty wages, to produce the food product and ethanol and whatnot.
I mean, it's like literally like serfdom. Like, like this is what they're proposing. We're gonna have farmers vouch for people so they're completely fucking beholden to them forever.
Look, we want to round up all these people and ship them out of here. However, if you have a lord who can like sponsor you,
then, for real.
So our governor Kim Reynolds has been asked about this, since I think that Trump's mention of this last week was the first anyone had heard of it. That they're gonna there's been some concern that we're gonna deport your serfs. So from Iowa Capitol Dispatch, Robin Opsahl wrote this piece earlier this week. Reynolds seeks to join discussions on Trump's plan for undocumented ag workers. Governor Kim Reynolds said Tuesday that Iowa officials have contacted the White House to be involved in discussions on how to keep immigrant agricultural workers in the country. So what's the order here? We initiate mass deportation, fund Border Patrol and ICE with billions of dollars.
Billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars.
Engage in a nationwide terror campaign. Masked anonymous thugs in the streets who refuse to identify themselves or follow any, proper procedure for law enforcement, grabbing people on the street, throwing them in vans, deporting beloved citizens of small towns as quickly as possible over holiday weekends. And once you got everybody nice and scared, you say, oh, but these particular workers, we want to make sure that they're safe. So safe, I mean, if you after the fact are like, well, what about the workers in this industry? We shouldn't do all this awful shit to them. So right. So what you're doing to these other people is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the ICE maybe killed someone when they raided a farm in California. Did you see anything about that?
I have not seen anything about that, but it's not surprising. I'm sure it's happened and we just haven't heard about it in other cases.
Yeah. And I don't have the details in front of me, but what I saw from scrolling was they raided a farm in Southern California. There was some violence, of course, and somebody died of their injuries, and then other people were held at gunpoint and forced to delete videos they'd taken with their phones. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of shit that's going on. Let's make sure that doesn't happen to certain people, but it does definitely happen to others.
Yeah, it's so fucking the contrast between all of these politicians defending Pedro being deported, oh, this is the law, but then when it comes to this, it's oh well, we can overlook the law because it
Yeah.
helps fucking business run smoothly.
Yeah. Keep that ethanol
There's like
cash
a
flowing.
direct contradiction at play here between
wasn't
like the need for labor, cheap labor to continue the economic system like running smoothly, and the racist and xenophobic instinct to like want to remove anyone who isn't a native U.S. citizen.
Yeah. It was the Ernst statement that said our nation has laws for a reason, and we can't turn a blind eye to the essential role they play in keeping Iowans safe. However, we certainly do need to exploit a few of them for very particular reasons. For the cash to keep flowing. Agricultural industry also has a hand in funding the campaigns of these people. That probably has something to do with it. Right?
Oh yeah.
We got some good stuff from Reynolds here in this Iowa Capitol Dispatch piece. Iowa has reached out to the Trump administration to be involved in the discussions of this policy and to, quote, actually continue to highlight how important it is so that we get this right. Okay, meaningless statement there. Secretary Rollins has done a great job of just pointing out the need in agriculture for this outside labor, a lot of them being there year after year after year. And it's how we make things work. So it's really important to the industry that we're able to maintain that. There has been a significant shift in how this issue is talked about. A few years ago, she never would have said this out loud to a reporter, right?
Hell no. No. Yeah.
Everybody knew, like, when this concern about illegal immigration was being stoked in right-wing media, 5-10 years ago, everybody in Iowa, that was the first thing you said was like, all the farms run off of illegal labor. But no politician would have like explicitly acknowledged that, at the time. And now that it's actually affecting things, it's like, well, now we can admit that, yes, our most important industry in the state is completely reliant on this exploitable illegal labor base. And we have to keep doing that or this whole thing falls apart. The whole thing being essentially like, profits need to keep being siphoned upwards.
Yeah.
It would be perfectly sustainable to actually, just make these people citizens and give them a good wage to do this essential work.
Yeah.
I think it might even work better if you made it a more equitable system.
I think,
but
I think that's true.
It's not quite as lopsided, I think, if you restructure it in that way.
Yeah. Much to think about.
I don't think there's really much else in this article. She's on her way out. I don't think she really gives a shit. Like, what's Kim Reynolds going to do in her last year in office to fix this? Nothing.
Kim Reynolds uncensored. She's going to go on Netflix and do a comedy special.
Just pass this off to the next poor schlub who takes up the mantle. And we'll get to that in a second. But I do want to mention before we move off of this immigration and deportation issue, there is a new piece by Althea Cole in the Cedar Rapids Gazette as of this morning. And the headline is, West Liberty man's deportation is sad. But not wrong.
Yeah, I read that. It's
Did you? I did not.
A lot of cognitive dissonance at play. But it's like, it is interesting because it's like, the way that these people are responding to it, like, they know, like you said, they know that this is fucking, like, just absolutely wrong on, like, every moral, like, humanistic level.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, well, it's the law,
Law is the law.
Yeah, and she's also talking a lot about fentanyl and cartels, and we need to keep America safe, and like, yeah,
really?
He's like,
well, now we have a face. We have a face to put all this on, and he's not guilty of any of that. It's obvious.
Well, she said he's a cog in the machine, and so even if he's a cog in it, he's a cog in an evil machine, which I guess is immigrants crossing the border or something. And even though he's not, like he's just a cog, he's an innocent cog. Doesn't mean that he doesn't, he still needs to be accountable for being a part of the cog, which is like, if you're going to like, or part of the machine
over here.
Yeah. Like, and if you're going to apply that logic, then like, I mean, just, it makes no sense whatsoever.
No.
We're all cogs. We're all cogs in this fucking evil machine.
Yeah. Wait.
Maybe we shouldn't escape accountability for that.
Fuck yeah. You're right. Yeah. But yeah, if you're able to look at this and write about this and acknowledge the travesty of like pointlessly making this kid's life way harder, but then you rationalize it by saying, well, the law is the law. Well, what's the purpose of that law then? If this is the result of enforcing those laws, maybe the law is not so fucking good. Maybe you shouldn't really have that much allegiance to that law. If this is the effect of the law and you acknowledge that it's not so good, not great what this law did to this person.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, would Althea Cole acknowledge that she herself is a cog in any way? Or are some people cogs and others are brilliant free thinkers, individuals? I'm not a cog.
Yeah. It's such a weird framing, but I mean, that's what we come to expect from Althea Cole and her journalistic endeavors.
Okay. The mantle of governor of Iowa, it's going to be passed to someone next year. Kim Reynolds is done with it. And, obviously we're going to bring him up. He's back. Well, we talked about him last week quite a bit as well, but
I have this like Pavlovian response to that song starts playing in my head whenever I hear it or read his name.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I start craving Casey's bacon pizza. No, I would never.
It's you can't read his name in any other cadence once you've heard the Roxanne parody. Yeah. So I have a couple articles that I did not end up reading about the last couple of episodes because we've had other stuff to concern ourselves with, but we're going to mention a few of the people running for governor aside from Rob. One of them being Mike Busolo, who made a name for himself earlier this year by proposing that Iowa buy a few counties from Minnesota. Just trying to make headlines, just trying to get his name out there, I think. He is, I think, not officially running for the Republican nomination, but he's in the exploration phase, And what's this piece from? The Des Moines Register. Brianne Pfaffenstiel wrote a piece reporting on an appearance he made at the West Side Conservative Club. And so some of the stuff he said there, ask me something about Rob Sand. Come on. He egged on a crowd during the question and answer session. This was on June 25th, so a couple weeks back. Busolo, 42, of Ankeny, eagerly ripped into Sand for positions such as opposing recent tax cuts and accusing him of mishandling a situation where $27 million was misallocated by the Iowa judicial branch over several years. Wow. He's really getting him for the real important stuff there. Busolo also, by the way, he did not support the anti-pipeline bill. So he's not going to win a primary. He called Sand a wolf in sheep's clothing and accused him of not being firm about what he stands for. Oh,
whoa!
Okay, well, we might agree on this.
Yeah, he's wearing the sheep's clothes, the Republican sheep clothes. He's decked out in wool. I mean,
my grandma used to have a saying about people who kind of were wishy-washy. You didn't know where they were at. Rob Sand, he's a fart in a skillet. It's like you can't get a hold of him.
He is a fart in a skillet. That's yeah.
Did your grandma ever say that?
I've heard the phrase.
Oh, have you? I don't think I knew that one.
It's a good one.
Yeah, my grandma was a little too proper to say something like that.
Yeah. Can't talk about farts. Grandma should not be talking about farts.
No, that's my maternal grandmother. She would never have said something like that. But my dad's mom, I learned the word shit from her when I was a baby. So nice. She may have said something like that. She was my smoking grandma. Sand, who held events in Waukee and Ankeny later in the day, declined to respond to Busolo's attacks. So they were probably driving past each other on the road.
Exactly what a fart in a skillet would do. Not respond.
Yeah. Yep. That's fart in a skillet behavior right there.
You gotta fucking deny the fart in a skillet allegations.
Okay, and then this other piece that we didn't have time for a couple weeks ago. Where was this town hall? This was reporting from his event in Waukee. This is from the Iowa Capitol Dispatch. Robin Opsahl, once again. Gubernatorial candidate Rob Sand emphasizes moderate stance at town hall. So again, this is the same day as he was called a fart in the skillet by Mike Busolo. In addition to saying he would not be interested in following a party agenda, Sand said he supports certain policies opposed by many Democrats. What are these certain policies, Evan? What do you think are the policies that many Democrats oppose that Rob Sand supports?
Well, he talked about the settled law.
The law is the law.
The law is the law, which is kind of similar. I was thinking like about the immigration thing. Like, do you think that Rob Sand was really going to take a stand on immigration anytime soon, or like ever?
Has he said anything?
I don't think he said anything.
I don't think I've seen anything
about it at all.
It sure would be helpful if the Rob Sand campaign had any kind of platform that people could consult to know what he...
There's 18 months or however, fart in a skillet time. There's 18 months until, the election. They're going to roll it out. It's not something you need to do in a political primary. You don't need to explain your positions to try to earn the trust and the nomination of the party that you claim to represent.
When you have no viable opponents, why bother?
Yeah. I mean, that's literally it.
Yeah. Here's some examples. When asked by a member of the audience about limiting unhealthy foods available for purchase through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which you may have heard of as SNAP, Sand said he is generally supportive of a restriction. So he supports restricting SNAP benefits. Democrats and hunger advocates often oppose SNAP restrictions, saying it is an unnecessary restriction for families in need seeking food. Yes, so SNAP obviously given to people who are, at the bottom rungs of our economic system. It's a small acknowledgement from our government that human beings need to eat food to continue living.
Yeah.
Even if they don't have enough money for food, maybe they should have that food.
His quote in this is wild, though.
Yeah. So
I
again,
think
this is
him, yeah, you can read it. Go ahead.
Supporting the restriction of what foods you can get on SNAP, which I mean, it's already restricted in many ways.
Is. Yeah.
So here's what he said when an audience member asked him. I think that one's a good idea. People who criticize it as paternalistic, saying oh, well, you shouldn't decide what they're going to buy with SNAP. Well, feeding people might be paternalistic too, and I feed my kids, and we don't buy them pop, and I think that makes sense. I forget what his kids' names are. Probably Hunter and Arrow, I think, are his sons' names. You expect me to believe those kids have never had pop?
Yeah. You post about going to fucking fast food restaurants every single fucking day.
You send me a goddamn
life.
picture of a gas station pizza slice, and but you should be allowed to make those choices because you make money off your government salary and your pockets are filled with your father-in-law's blood money. You should be allowed to buy as much junk food as you want, but not those dirty pores.
Yeah. That corn syrup comes from farmers in Iowa. Yeah, also the weird gender stuff, the paternalistic, feeding kids is paternalistic because, I mean, the dad is obviously the sole breadwinner in the family. That's what it's about, winning bread. What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah, some people say it's paternalistic, and I say, yeah, it is, and it's good. I love paternalism.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? It's awful.
And it's kind of at odds with part of the image he wants to put forth is, don't I look really young? Well, if you're embracing a paternalistic outlook, that's not exactly a young man's projection. You should start growing a big white beard if that's the route you want to take.
Not beating the actually a conservative allegations.
Not at all.
Not at all. Not even trying. I'm surprised that more people aren't talking about how he won't criticize Trump at all. He's completely afraid of saying anything that would offend any Republican.
Wasn't that the first thing Simon Conway brought up though?
Yeah,
it was. 10 years ago where Rob called Trump a madman.
Yeah, and he's like, I have to know the context. I don't know why I said that. I mean,
well, I'd never say that now, of course.
Yeah, he's gotten way more sane.
Now that Trump's evened out a little bit, he's certainly not a madman anymore.
Come on, man. I'm surprised. It's so shocking to me. I don't know. Yeah.
The gender thing, like, is that really a traditionally paternalistic thing that they're the ones feeding the kids? Like, isn't that mom's job?
Well, yeah. Dad's buying the food, though. Dad's paying the bill for the groceries.
Yeah, Rob deserves
Obviously.
all the credit for the nutritional choices of the Sand family. Yeah, that's all me. What a fucking crazy thing to say. All that is weird. But he said he does not support certain components of these proposals, pointing to Reynolds' waiver excluding certain foods like candy and soft drinks from SNAP, approved by the U.S. Department of Agriculture in May, that would allow for candy to be purchased if it has flour in it. Yeah, these restrictions they don't necessarily make sense when you really look at them. Or they make sense through certain lenses, not others. They're being sold to us, these restrictions, as, they should only be allowed to buy healthy food. Set them on the right path. We shouldn't be using government money taxes ought not pay for your bag of fudge rounds. Remember that?
Yeah.
Rich men north of Richmond.
Oh, yeah. Oliver, what's his fucking name? Completely fell off the map, man.
But
because he didn't immediately kowtow to conservative. I don't think so.
Yeah. He's a swing voter, I think, that guy. That's kind of what he was all about. He's all about common sense. Mm-hmm. He says here, I wonder, was there someone that makes flour that had a role in crafting that legislation and said these measures need to pass the, quote, smell test if implemented?
That is so brave to do that. Like, bring up conflicts of interest when, I mean, we've talked about some other potential conflicts of interest with Rob Sand. And, I don't know. I've also been thinking about the fact that he promotes all of these fast food things. Like they're all, it's all like pork products. It's all dairy. It's like all, I think it's pretty clear that Iowa farmers sell their products to be made into these products that he is constantly advertising. And I think
the Lauritsen Group might have,
I think there's might be a reason for that.
Their hands in your pocket as well as the pocket of these dairy producers. And that might have something to do with why you posed for a video with John Fetterman chugging a glass of milk. Mm-hmm. Do you think he really drinks that much milk? Or is it just for show?
I wouldn't be surprised. He looks like a milk drinker.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, another this is related to the restrictions of SNAP benefits and the waivers that our state applies for to not accept, federal programs to feed children. At the Coralville City Council meeting the other night, one of our members of the council, Hai Win, she runs the local food bank. So she's been involved with these I forget. It's like summer EBT benefits. We've rejected those. Like the state does not just give families summer EBT. Mm-hmm. Instead, they're setting up these stations that the families are supposed to come to get food. And it's sold as they're getting more nutritional options with this program that we're going to run instead. Sounds like it's a fucking mess. There's something less efficient about setting up things that didn't already exist, setting up in a parking lot or whatever, a bunch of food that people are then supposed to come to, rather than just giving them money to go to grocery stores that are already up.
Yeah.
And I've seen, I've seen local media sort of selling this as actually this is an improvement, but it sounds like from the people actually having to do this, it's not. It's a mess. Fewer people end up getting the benefits that they need.
Interesting. Almost like that might be part of the point.
Yeah. All right. What else can we say about the governor's race? Oh, the Bob Vanderplaats article is interesting. This is one that Evan found the other morning. Again, from Brianne Pfaffenstiel of the Des Moines Register. Bob Vanderplaats warned, I think it's Platts, but I like Platts better. Bob Vanderplaats warns Iowa Republicans that Rob Sand is a compelling governor candidate. Anyone who doesn't know, Bob Vanderplaats is an evangelical leader in Iowa. He runs the Family Leader
Mm-hmm.
So he's been involved with promoting like Mike Huckabee and Rick Santorum in previous election cycles here in Iowa. Right-wing Christian.
Yeah, and leading that judge recall election campaign.
Yeah, when the Iowa Supreme Court legalized gay marriage, he was a leader of the backlash to that, which led to the state of politics in Iowa today. I feel like
he's a big figure. He's very important.
Yeah. So what's he have to say about Rob Sand, leading candidate for the Democratic nomination for the governor of Iowa? A super right-wing guy in Iowa politics had this to say: Rob Sand is a compelling Democrat candidate. Vanderplatz told members of the West Side Conservative Club on Wednesday, July 9th. We just heard about the West Side Conservative Club. That's where Mike Busolo was talking about Rob Sand. Churchgoer, gun-toter, state auditor, taxpayers watchdog. Sounds a little bit like us, right? And he's going to have kind of this common sense message as well. And he's going to be exceptionally well-funded. This is what Vanderplatz had to say about Rob Sand. Sounds a bit like us, right? Yeah, man, I think he does. I think he's a lot like you. I think that's what he's going for a little bit.
I mean, a lot. I think that's his whole campaign.
Yeah. This was interesting, too. Even though Iowa's state government is currently led by Republicans almost across the board, this is not a ruby red state, Vanderplatz said. I believe it's a common sense state, which is...
Okay.
Stupid enough, but there's some realness to that, and I think we've actually kind of acknowledged this recently too. That like the state government has shifted right significantly, in our adult lives. But I don't really think that your average person in Iowa is necessarily a more like ideologically dedicated conservative than they were when we were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that common sense is a stupid myth.
Yeah,
but maybe it's a good idea to seize on the rube's belief in the existence of common sense, and maybe try to shift the definition of common sense towards something a bit more beneficial to human beings.
Yeah,
maybe okay. I feel like we say a lot that we're not like the median voter, or like we're not in the majority as fringe left. People. Maybe we should just start lying and say that, we represent the common mind. We're common sense. This is common sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think once you learn about Marxism, it's kind of oh yeah, I mean that's it's common sense.
It actually kind of is
but most people don't really like to delve into that kind of stuff.
If you're the average working class person and you've had a job and you implicitly understand the relationship between a boss and a worker, if you're presented with Marxist theory, it makes sense immediately. I mean, that is my background basically. It's as soon as I had to work, I got it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we can redefine common sense.
Fuck it, we're common sense now. And I think all the stuff we were the observations we were making about immigration, I do think that's common sense.
Kind of also with the Mamdani campaign. There's that Fox News graphic where they're these are the things that he wants. And it's all things that are totally reasonable that normal people would benefit from. But it's
yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean,
you list a bunch of stuff that's just normal, good shit that people need, and you try to present it as scary. That's not going to connect, I think, for people who have their brains turned on.
Yeah.
Oh, there was another really important thing that happened, a development in the governor's race this week. Zach Nunn very briefly floated that he might run for governor.
That was funny.
And then got cold feet after he talked to the president.
I had no idea that he was considering it. But I mean, it makes sense. I don't know. We're shitting on Rob Sand's chances. I think it's very, very unlikely that Rob Sand will even come close to winning. But I mean, these Republican candidates are fucking real bad so far.
Yeah, they're not sending their best.
They're not sending their best. I don't know how much appeal Feenstra has. I don't think he has that much. He's another pro-pipeline guy.
that Vanderplaats. Oh fuck, you're right. Yeah, Feenstra has been facing like mutiny for the past few years in like his own congressional primaries because of the pipeline eminent domain stuff. But the Vanderplaats article mentions Brad Sherman and Eddie Andrews also running for the Republican nomination, who are, you know, very far right guys in general. Not necessarily the common sense middle ground type of guys. But anyway, yeah, Zach Nunn. This is also from Brianne Pfaffenstiel, so she's the media superstar of the day here on Rock Hard Caucus. We're pulling from her work a lot today. U.S. Representative Zach Nunn will run for re-election to his 3rd congressional district seat and forego a gubernatorial campaign, he has confirmed. This was a media cycle of like 1 or 2 days. There was an article out that was like, Zach Nunn considering gubernatorial run, and then the next day it was like, nah. And then, on Friday, Zach Nunn is fully committed to serving the incredible people of Iowa's 3rd district, a campaign spokesperson said. After prayerful consideration with his family and the strong support from President Trump, Zach is more committed than ever to maintaining the Republican majority and advancing the America First agenda. So much like Brenna Bird, it was like, you know, once it's clear that Trump's not going to give you the crown.
Yeah.
Nope. Stay put. Here's what Trump had to say about it. This is straight from Truth Social. Donald Trump's words about Zach Nunn the other day. Just spoke to great combat veteran Zach Nunn, and he is committed to the mission of holding the majority. He is a team player with a tremendous future and 100% MAGA. Zach needs our full support to win Iowa 03. He is fighting for the farmer is capitalized, and everything else that Iowa stands for, including, of course, lower taxes and our always under siege Second Amendment. Yeah, so that's what Iowa's all about. Farmer, lower taxes, Second Amendment. And that's why we need Zach Nunn to stay in Congress and not run for governor of Iowa. Zach Nunn has my complete and total endorsement. He will not let you down.
Yeah. I mean, that seat is still pretty hot. Like, I think Sarah Trone Garriott is a much better candidate, or will be a better candidate than Lanon Bacam was.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some political maneuvering happening here.
She at least has some, like, people have heard of her before she started running. You know, like, made a bit of a name for herself in state government before aiming higher. It's not just like, I'm military.
Yeah, I think she has a shot, but who knows? It's long ways away.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Zach Nunn fucking sucks. Zach Nunn's a fucking piece of shit. Fuck
total
him.
Total dud. The governor thing, like, man, you wouldn't think that Kim Reynolds declining to run again would be this much of a crisis.
Yeah.
Like, she was really the best they had. Wow.
Yeah, it is a scary thought.
Yeah, so, I mean, between them having shitty candidates and the Epstein issue kind of like ripping apart the coalition, I don't know, maybe things could change a little bit here in the near future. Maybe there is an opening. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe common sense will prevail. All right. Well, have we done enough? Have we done enough to advocate for common sense today?
I think so.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to this Common Sense podcast, Rock Hard Caucus. We're all about advocating for common sense here. Middle of the road approach to politics. Something that just makes sense for everyone. Things we can all agree on. Things to plug today. I will again link to the legal and family aid GoFundMe for Pascual Pedro. They are, still advocating for him, trying to appeal to whatever forces exist to let him come back home. So if you got money to spare, you feel, if you're like Althea Cole, you feel kind of bad about it, you might be able to send a few bucks. Also, the Iowa Trans Mutual Aid Fund, of course, could still use your money if you got it to spare. IowaTransMutualAidFund.org. I'm playing a show. Oh, you know what? I don't have a lot of details about this, but I think I'm going to be playing at the Open Jam at Gabe's in Iowa City on Tuesday. it's kind of a last minute thing, but come to Gabe's on Tuesday night. You might see me dicking around on a saxophone. But something that has been organized a little more thoroughly, there's a show at Cloud House in Iowa City on July 24th where I will be playing Grain Bin operettas and other local artists will be performing. And we're supporting artists on tour from Virginia, Collapsing and Francis Thornton. That'll be a good time. July 24th, Cloud House, Public Space 1. I'd love to see you there. I'm going to plug another show in a minute here, but let me get the normal plugs out of the way first. If you have any common sense solution to any of the nation's problems that you would like to present to us for consideration here on Iowa's #1 common sense platform, you can give us a call at 319-849-8733. Leave us a voicemail. Tell us what you believe common sense is. You can also email rockhardcaucus@gmail.com if you got more common sense to share. Your voicemails may end up on Rock Hard Call Us, a series on our Patreon, which you can access for $1 at patreon.com/rockhardcaucus. All the audio is behind a $1 paywall. It's nothing too crazy. Videos behind a $5 paywall. Some episodes have video, not all. So you're spending more for less content. It makes a lot of sense.
But hey, most podcasters start their tiers at $5. So we're giving you a deal for the bonus episodes.
We do not value ourselves, so take advantage of us. You can also get like a year subscription, and that's even more discounted. So if you really want to have access for a while, it's pretty cheap.
It's like $10 a year or something.
Yeah. But it helps us, keep the ship afloat and everything. Keep the hosting bills paid and all that shit. Yeah, our research assistants.
Yeah, research assistants. HR department for when Justin gets a little too spicy. It's always Justin, never me. But
yeah, Evan's always filing complaints against me.
I'm always yeah. I'm the good boy. I'm the podcast good boy.
If you think I let loose on Mike, imagine what I'm like when you're not listening. Tony and I released a new episode of Speed Freak Read Speak the other day. It's almost 2 hours long, talking about Knuckles the Echidna and getting into his dad's secret apartment, stuff like that. You'd be surprised what kind of stuff shows up in Sonic the Hedgehog comics. We're also reading a Joseph Dobrian book. By the way, Evan, I have like 20 voicemails backed up, so if you want to,
yeah, I was going to say we haven't done one in a while. Yeah, I'm down.
All right,
I'm always
maybe
down.
This week we'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, now to close the show, we always close with local music, and I have kind of like a special occasion here. I was sent a press release from a band that we're going to end the show with today. This came to my desk from the offices of Jason Hennessy. For immediate release, Miracles of God reunite for triumphant return show at Gabe's in Iowa City. After more than 15 years of silence, beloved Iowa City pop rock band Miracles of God are reuniting for a special live performance at Gabe's on Saturday, August 30th. Mark your calendars now, people. Known for their raw energy, eccentric songwriting, and DIY ethos, the band's return is a homecoming fans won't want to miss. Formed in 2004, Miracles of God features songwriters Samuel Locke Ward and Jason Hennessy, backed by rhythm section Brian Bowman and Clayton Schoonman. The group carved out a cult following through relentless touring of dingy basements, dive bars, and DIY venues across the Midwest and East Coast. They released 3, quote, studio albums, opened for legends like the Violent Femmes, and left a mark on the underground music scene before quietly parting ways in 2008. Now back together and writing new material, the band is reigniting the spark that made them local legends. Joining them on the bill, which again is August 30th at Gabe's, Daisy Glue, Iowa City-based psych rockers bringing dreamy, distorted soundscapes. Early Girl, neo-grunge punk from Iowa City's fiercest femme-fronted band. And Blood and Stomach Pills. That's a great band name.
Yeah, it is.
A psych cowpunk duo hailing from Brooklyn, New York, blending grit with weirdness in all the right ways. Whether you were there in 2004 or are just discovering them now, this is your chance to experience Miracles of God live. Weirder and older, but as unforgettable as ever. So I was very happy to receive like a full page.
Yeah, that sounds rad.
So to close out the show today, I did on Samuel Lockward's Bandcamp page dug up some of the old Miracles of God stuff, and back in I think 2016 was the last time they released anything. This single "Broken Hearted Days" by Miracles of God is how we're going to close out today. And yeah, if you like it, come see him on August 30th, end of next month. The Miracles of God reunion will be exciting for all.
We love to see miracles of God.
I'm always celebrating miracles of all kinds. Mm-hmm. Scientists are lying and getting me pissed, but miracles of God will always, delight me.
It's just
I don't know the rest of the lyrics to that song. All right, bye everyone.
Goodbye.